Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady and principal owner of Everett Tax Solutions, where we help you win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, and when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the small business community. Okay, it is opening day. It is opening day for tax season 2022. It is the official start of the e-filing season for the IRS. And so I wanted to share this video to really, let you know what to expect for, for our taxpayers, for our clients, because this is going to help just keep a lot of foolishness down. At least that is the goal. So, I want to share with you what I shared with my client base. And so sharing it with you just in case you really have not gotten the news already. Okay, so first of all, the filing deadline for individual tax returns is April 18th, okay? Do yourself a favor and get your tax documents in well before that time so there is proper time allotted to file your tax return. There is a lot going on this tax year. There's a lot of tax credits floating around, and that's going to require additional time to properly prepare your returns. The reason you want to get this right the first go around, the IRS has already said that this is going to be a bumpy season, but we already knew that in the tax professional community. We already knew based on all of the tax changes. But they've also announced that they are 6 million unprocessed original 1040 returns behind, and they are behind 2.3 million amended tax returns. So you definitely want to take the time to make sure you have all of your documents together, okay? If you were trading on Robinhood, if you sold any stocks or cryptocurrency on Robinhood, their statements aren't going to be ready until the middle of February. And I think TD Ameritrade, don't quote me on TD Ameritrade, they may have announced as well that their statements won't be ready until the middle of February. So yes, we want to get the tax returns filed, but you definitely want to make sure that you have all of your tax documents first, because amended returns are going to take forever. Now, if you got the advanced child tax credit, or if you got that third stimulus, you want to make sure that you have the letters from the IRS. We already know that some of these letters are not accurate, you guys. We already know that. There is a difference between what's in the letter, the difference between what people receive in their bank account, and the difference and it's different from what's in your IRS account. Report what's on the letter. If you say, if the letter says that you received $1,000 and you only got $700, okay, then you have to file a form 3911 to figure out where the additional money is. If you file what's on the letter, that's going to help process your return quicker, and then you can find the additional money after that, okay? The IRS is also sending a letter for stimulus payments. When the third stimulus payment went out, they originally sent a letter 1444, I think is the number of the letter that showed you how much you were getting. And they are also sending out a letter 6475 showing how much of the stimulus that you got. Those letters are critical to you getting your tax return filed properly. If you have marketplace health insurance, that means you've gone to healthcare.gov, purchased your insurance on the marketplace, Obamacare, by whatever name you call it, you need to make sure that you download the current year 1095A. From what I have heard, the IRS is automatically rejecting those returns if you had healthcare marketplace health insurance and didn't report the 1095A, which is a totally better process than previously when you had to wait and get a letter, then adjust the return and then fax it in and then wait for the IRS to make the adjustment. I really hope that these rejections are actually happening, because that will help that process go faster. But the best thing is for you to make sure that you have your current year statement. And if you had marketplace insurance before and then you I didn't have it this year, or I may have only had it, if you had it for 1 month, you have to report that, okay? What else? I have my list up here, and I want to make sure that We have everything. In response times from tax professionals, because I'm already getting complaints from my client base. During the filing season, our priority is to get the returns filed on time and filed accurately. So it is very difficult to answer unscheduled calls. Even the normal email response times are going to be delayed because these tax returns are going to take longer. And it requires focus. Okay, if you've seen even half of what's going on in the news, we have to focus to make sure that we're preparing that return accurately so we don't have to amend again in the future. So don't get upset with your tax pro if they're not responding to you the same day or even the next day, because the priority is on getting the tax returns filed. Okay? So I hope that, that really gives you an idea of what's going on. Because at the end of the day, that's our job. Our job is to prepare a return accurately based on the documentation that you provide. Now, with some of these tax credits, especially with the child tax credit, the child care, the dependent care credit, you're going to be asked to produce a lot of documentation. And the reason for that is because the IRS can fine us, I think, $545 per instance, up to $2,000 per return, for due diligence failures. And that means due diligence failures mean that we as tax professionals did not do our job asking you the right questions and requiring the right documentation. I am not interested in paying anybody's fines and penalties when I don't even want to pay my taxes, okay? That's all I'm saying. So get ready for that, okay? Because tax credits are a dollar for dollar reduction of your tax bill. So any tax credit you get wrong, that's a dollar for dollar that you're going to have to pay back. So this is why we definitely are going to be asking for documentation, and it may seem like more than in prior years, and that may be the case. But we're doing it to protect ourselves and also to protect you. Okay? Next. Listen, there's a lot of foolishness going out around these streets. Okay? We got folks talking about creating an LLC so you can get your tax refund. You've got a lot of stuff going on with the 7202 tax credit. You got a lot of stuff going around about the 7200 tax credit as well. So listen to me. Ask your tax professional. And just because you see a particular credit floating around, it doesn't mean it applies to you. Okay, there's lots and lots and lots of tax credits that are out there. It's not just the tax credit du jour. Okay, but regardless, for tax credits, there are qualifications. If you don't qualify for a credit, do not submit for a credit that you do not qualify for, and especially that 7202 credit. Okay, that's for self-employed individuals, because please understand that 7202 tax credit is going to be audited because it is a very lucrative tax credit, and if you claim that credit and it does not apply to you, you're going to have to pay that money back, plus penalties and interest. So I know it sounds, and listen, it's very sexy. For a self-employed individual, we already don't get a whole lot of tax credits anyway. The 7202 credit was really sexy last year. It seems like a lot of tax pros missed the 7202 credit last year. But it's sexy again this year too. But that does not mean that you automatically qualify for the credit. And for my tax pros, you need to make sure that you are asking good questions and asking for as much documentation as possible. If the client doesn't want to provide the documentation, you document that too. Okay? You're not out here, trying to make anyone's life miserable, but it is going to be imperative that you abide by the law, because as much as we heard about this current administration providing funding for the IRS, that funding was for enforcement. It was not for processing. Okay, so please understand that these tax returns filed here in 2022 will probably be audited 2024-ish. Okay? So you'll do this now, and then you won't hear anything about it for 2 years. Okay? So yeah, the IRS has already issued a statement that it's going to be a bumpy ride, right? And everybody's going to have to put their patience hats on. We have to be as thorough as possible, be patient with your tax pros, and really just be as prepared as possible. Because if you do that and make that process go smoothly, give your tax pro whatever they're asking for. They won't ask for it if they don't need it. Okay? If you do that and then you prepare your tax return like you knew the IRS was going to show up at your door tomorrow, you will be fine. Okay? So I hope that helps you out. And really for my tax pros, make sure that you're talking to your client base, letting them know that, hey, if we don't get this right now, that there's going to cause delays. You see people that are still complaining that they have not gotten their refunds yet. Well, that's because it's come out of the electronic process and requiring a human being to look at your tax return. If your tax return is going to wind up requiring a human being, well, you'll get that tax refund when you'll get it. The IRS will pay interest, but that interest is also taxable, so make sure you report the interest as well. All right? So that's it, you guys. Game on. It is completely game on. It is already off the chain here at Everett Tax, and I know it is everywhere else. Just make sure you get all of your tax documents. Make sure you report everything properly, and we will cross our fingers that everything will go well. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk, and we will see you next time. Bye.